Welcome to the Successful Real Estate Broker Podcast, where we learn about some success stories and some not so successful stories. But either way, we learn. Each episode, we talk with successful real estate agents and vendors about things they have done to make them successful and some things they did that you might want to avoid. Join us for each episode of the Successful Real Estate Broker Podcast with your host, Preston Sandlin.
All right, listeners, well, I have a special treat for you here today. A realtor that I've known a while and very successful. We travel in a lot of the same circles. Miss Cathy Burns, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Preston. Thank you so much for having me on today.
I've been looking forward to it. Well, Cathy, some listeners, we're primarily realtors, might not know who you are. So give us a little background. I did a little stalking. I know you're from Maryland, I think. So how did I grew up in Maryland. How did you get to Carolinas? How did you become a realtor?
Awesome. Thanks for asking, Preston. So I have lived in the Charlotte area for 22 years, which kind of blows my mind. I did grow up in Maryland, and I actually was working for the federal government when I was transferred to Charlotte. I spent 10 years as a federal criminal investigator, which is a fun fact about me that a lot of people don't know. Maybe you didn't even know that. And,
I think I had heard that. I was always a little nervous around. No, I'm just kidding.
So I became a realtor broker in 2005.
Oh, cool. So what, I obviously got to have some follow-up questions on that. What type of, was it like accounting type stuff or drugs? Or, I mean, if I can ask, I don't want to pry too much. I mean, what type of stuff?
Yeah, of course. And that always does generate some interest naturally. I spent the majority of my previous career investigating international drug smuggling. I worked on the U.S.-Mexico border. I worked some cases at the Charlotte International Airport. That's what I did. So
wow,
to make
Charlotte a big hub? I know I'm getting off track here. But I'm curious. Is Charlotte like a big? I mean, I imagine all cities are, but is Charlotte like a hot spot for that, or was, or? And if you can't say.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, every community has some criminal activity that a lot of people don't even know about. And that's why, it's important to stay vigilant. And really, I knew that I was a pretty independent person, just based on my personality style. And so I knew that I wanted to be my own boss. And right. I looked at some franchise opportunities and different things, and I realized that the startup cost to become a real estate broker, it's not super high. $5,000 to $10,000, you can launch your own business pretty readily. And so that's what I decided to do. I'd always had an interest in real estate, and of course, in 2005, we were in another hot real estate market back then.
Yeah,
so it seemed like
years. And then it went south in about 07, 08. It went really south.
My timing was great.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy though. I wish we could buy houses now what we could buy them for then. I mean, but it's crazy. So you really got into real estate. Did you where did you do your training? When you first got into it, did you have a sort of a mentor or a realtor that you kind of you sort of helped you out, or how did you make that transition from,
Well, there was a lot of pressure on me to prove the people who thought I was crazy for leaving my really awesome federal government job, career. I had an amazing retirement, a good salary, so I needed to replace a six-figure income right away. So that will tend to motivate someone, And I also had two little ones, and my son was in kindergarten, my daughter was in daycare, so I wanted to continue to have them in not all day daycare, but I wanted to be able to provide for that so that I could work and really get my career launched. And I actually had a mentor of mine at Allen Tate Realtors is where I started my career. And she told me to really just to get plugged into the community, because with my background not being from Charlotte, I really didn't have a lot of connections in the community. So she gave me some tips about joining some local clubs, and I jumped right into the Chamber of Commerce in Union County, also the Waxhaw Weddington Rotary Club. I met a lot more people that way and kind of got into the community, because before, when I was out in the community, people weren't always probably too happy to see me because of the type of work that I was doing.
Right.
So I had to really change my mindset. And
right.
I don't have a sales background, so I really decided that while I'm in sales and I'm good at sales and I'm good at marketing, my role for my clients all these years has really just been to be that trusted advisor who's going to be, tell them the straight scoop, what they need to do, and really guide them.
I think that gives you kind of a unique ability, and quite possibly, I mean, I hope I'm not oversimplifying, but I would think you'd be pretty good at being able to tell when somebody's being a little less than honest on the other side. Sometimes that no representation all the way down. Like, I know some stuff, you're just not telling us. Of course, that's I'm a home inspector, so that's kind of our job too. It's like, all right, we say new roof like in 1999. But good stuff. Did you I know you moved out to Weddington, and we have that in common because our kids both went to Weddington. And hey, they just won the state basketball championship, by the way. I don't know if you knew that, but
incredible. I did not realize that. I'm not as plugged in as I was before, since both my kids are out of high school now.
Yeah, well, I'll be right there with. I got one senior left, and she's going to college next year. But I love that school. I mean, it's been awesome for both my girls. And it's just amazing that little school has done so well in sports. I mean, my high school is a really big high school, and I think they've won 2 state championships in 60 years. Weddington's won multiple state championships in multiple sports in a very short time. It's just amazing to me, but it's been a good school. It's been a really good. I know we're not talking about real estate here, but I do have one other question for you. Did you live, before you moved out here, did you live, not Providence Country Club, but Providence, the other one that sounds like Providence Country? Did you live there, or did you know Eric Hoover?
No, I don't. Before I moved to my current home in Weddington, I lived in Wesley Chapel.
Okay. It must have been somebody else, because I knew Eric, like his neighbor or something. We're good friends with this guy, Eric. He's a commercial broker, and we're been to several parties, and I remember him talking about his neighbor, a lady who worked for the federal government, much like in the role that you did. And I was trying to connect those dots, but I guess it's not the same person. I didn't know, but that was like a long time ago. But anyway, back to real estate. So you've obviously been successful, and I'm sure that was tough to go from such a good job with benefits to a job with no guarantees, no guaranteed salary. And quite frankly, a majority of people don't make it past a couple of years. I mean, I always say that, when I'm doing like these new agent orientations, I sponsor all those, and I'm always like, I've done them for years, and I'm always sitting there thinking, all right, who out of this group's going to make it? There's going to be a few that are going to be ultra successful. But quite honestly, more than half of them probably won't even be in business 5 years from now. So you've obviously been successful. What do you think? And I mean, I know it's multiple things, but what do you think's that common ingredient, or it's probably more than one thing, but that makes agents successful versus, and especially starting out, like a lot of people come from something totally different. What's the sticking power, or the secret sauce, do you think that helps agents last versus the ones that wash out? or be successful?
I mean, there's so many different prongs and facets to that question. I think certainly a main driving factor is just staying true to what your goals are. So if you say you're going to do something, you need to do it. If you say you want to get more involved in the community and meet more people so that you have a bigger sphere of influence, then you need to do it. You can't just sit at home and be a secret agent. You have to get out there and be in front of people, and you need to let people know that you are in real estate over and over and over again. And really the formulas for success in real estate are pretty well documented in dozens, hundreds of books. So if you choose something, maybe it's some people, I think they try to get too involved in too many different things. If a brand new agent said, okay, I'm gonna focus on farming my own neighborhood. Right. Of course, when I say farming the neighborhood, that means you're gonna walk around, you're gonna go door to door, you're gonna send flyers, and there goes my dog. And
dogs are great though for farming your neighborhood. You meet everybody when you're walking your dog.
Oh yeah, that's great advice right there too. Or if someone decides they want to do open houses, well, then you have to commit to it. You have to say, okay, I'm going to do open houses for other brokers, every weekend, and don't stop. A lot of agents, I think, they'll stop something right before it's about to turn. Right. I know a lot of people do that. So you just have to have that persistence to keep forging ahead, and talk with someone who's successful in your office or in your community. It doesn't even necessarily have to be in your same firm. Find someone to follow.
Awesome. Well, and I agree with you. It seems like in my business, which is related to your business, it always seems like something is like, it's like bleak, what is it? Darkest right before the dawn. It's like you're working on something, you're just about when you're about to give up on it. That's when it seems to bear fruit. It seems like. Now you said that, I know in our pre-negotiation, or not negotiation, but podcast talk, you don't call FSBOs. And I know that's sort of, you mentioned that, well-documented different things that real estate agents do. And there's so many different things. And I know you work with buyers and sellers. What do you do, or how do you feel? I mean, and I know different things work for different people, and it depends on their personality as well. Lead generation. I mean, some people call FSBOs. What has been successful for you, Cathy, and what do you do for lead generation? And do you believe in scripts, or what do you do? I mean,
well, certainly scripts practice is really important. I've been doing this now for 17 years, so I do have some of the luxury of having more past clients, and I've grown a pretty big sphere of influence. So I do tend to work more by referral. However, and even dealing with your past clients, knowing the right scripts to say, knowing what to say so that it sounds natural. In fact, we can talk about this a little bit more, but I've done pretty much the same listing presentation so many times that it's scripted, but it's so natural to me because I've said it and I've said it and I've said it. So I think that scripts practice it's really important. How to talk with your clients so that you are asking for business without being overt, saying, hey, I really need business.
Yeah, you don't want to seem desperate. Even
right.
if you are.
Well, and you don't want to seem too busy. That's another thing that, especially in today's market, some people, I think they think, oh gosh, Cathy's too busy. She doesn't have time to deal with my cousin or my nephew or whoever. And I'm like, please, I am never too busy for another piece of business, no matter the price range.
Awesome.
So that's important too.
You mentioned listing presentation, and I know that you guys are putting on a presentation here, I think St. Pat's Day, about winning listing presentation or killer listing presentation. So tell us a little bit about that. I mean, and I always ask that question, if you were the classic I don't know if this ever happens, but you're always given this, they always say interview 3 realtors to sell your house if you're a seller. So one of the questions I always ask the guest is, what do you do to win that listing if you are being compared to other realtors? What do you do different, or what do you do to stand out?
Well, I'm so glad you asked about that, Preston, because yes, I am going to share my award-winning listing presentation at an event on Thursday in South Park from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. The entire event is, it's all revolves around generating more listing leads from social media, from the Nextdoor platform. We've got a total of 3 speakers are going to share those tips. And my listing presentation, I always assume that I'm competing with other agents, even if it's a past client. You just never know what you're up against. So being prepared and having a professional presentation, I think, is super important. So I share my value proposition. Why should someone work with me versus working with another agent? And it's pretty cool. Like, I think I said that I won the EXP North Carolina listing presentation contest in 2021. So I think my presentation is pretty good. And whether someone is brand new in the business or has been in the business for a little while, I think that we can all share some information and learn something every time. So that's another thing about me personally, is that I love to learn. I love to attend events. I love to travel to training, out of state conferences and different things, because you can bring back little pieces that you can plug into your business right away to generate results. So
no, I totally agree with you. And I'm kind of like that too. It's like, it's like I get a little bit of this, a little bit, people ask me, well, how do you come up with your marketing? And I'm like, it's just like a little bit of this, a little bit of this, and a little bit of me. Like, that's how you make it original. Well, tell us, just so that the listeners, and some might be driving, the time and place. Again, you said South Park. Is Legion Brewery? Is that where it is? I think. Is that?
Yes, absolutely. You're right. So Thursday, March 17th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Legion Brewing in South Park. It is posted on Eventbrite. So if someone were just to search St. Patrick's Day Realtor event, it should pop up right at the top of the screen. And also it is a Facebook event as well. So someone can search for the St. Patrick's Day Realtor event in Facebook. And obviously they can reach out to you or me directly and get some more information. And Preston, I just really want to thank you for being one of our sponsors. And I know that everyone always wants to hear from you at these events and see you and see what crazy pants you're going to be wearing.
I have St. Patty's Day pants.
I know you do.
I just washed them. I'm getting ready. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Now, Cathy, who you're doing your listing presentation. Who are the other 2 speakers, and what are they going to be talking about?
Yes, I should mention that as well. So our first speaker will be Kayla Trulane Lindsay. She is a mega agent and team leader, and she is going to be speaking on generating listing leads through social media. And our second speaker will be Kim Angeli, the owner of Grateful Box. She is she's a mindset coach, a business coach. She's not a real estate broker yet. Maybe one day she'll get her license. We'll see. And she's going to be talking about how to become the go-to neighbor through the use of Nextdoor. Nextdoor is a hugely popular app and a great place for realtors to get a foothold. And then, like I said, I'll be sharing my listing presentation. We're going to have incredible food. We have a professional DJ who's going to MC for us and keep our energy really high, and it's going to be fabulous.
Awesome. And is there any cost to this? Is it open to all realtors?
It is open to all realtors, any firm. In fact, that's one of the questions I've received, because I work for eXp Realty, and we are the fastest growing real estate company in the history of real estate, period. A lot of people think that this might be an eXp recruiting event, and it is not a recruiting event. There's no eXp Realty pitch. No real estate firms.
It's not. I heard somebody say, so is it non-denominational? A
That's
non-denominational event.
Yes,
Well,
it's
good,
non-denominational. We invite every realtor from anywhere to come and join us and have some fun and learn some things.
Absolutely. And you know you need a business reason to drink some green beer on St. Patrick's Day, right?
That's right. There will be
It's a tax write-off if it's a business event.
There will be beverages available.
Who probably wants who probably used to investigate financial wrongdoing. It's not a tax write-off. Actually, it is if you're doing business, I think. Well, good stuff. Good stuff. Well, we're excited about that event. I hope everybody comes out. I have just a couple more questions for you, Cathy. I won't hold you up because I know you're really busy, and we have a lightning round. So I hope I hope I didn't catch you off guard. I didn't tell you about that. She asked me yesterday, "Is like, is there anything I need to prepare for?" And I was like, "No, nothing." Well, I used to do that. I used to send the questions out, and the answers would be really good, but almost too good. You know what I mean? I kind of like the sort of spontaneity or whatever, that sort of thing. It was
and that's another thing that realtors need to get good at. You need to get good at being good on your feet. And that's where knowing your scripts, knowing your numbers, knowing your business, then when you get asked, you can you can respond in the right way. So lay it on me, Preston.
All right. If you woke up tomorrow morning, just hypothetically, in a brand new world, it's in another town, but the same size as Charlotte, you had all of your credentials, room and board taken care of, but for whatever reason, it's a brand new world. You don't know anybody. You got to start all over. But again, room and board taken care of, all that. What are you going to do? Let's say you've got $1,000. That's your budget. What are you going to do to get out there and build your business?
Well, I would start with a name tag, wear it everywhere. Some other promotional shirts and things. I mean, you're great at doing that, wearing some promotional stuff so that you can have those conversations with everyone you meet. Business cards, obviously. Just start collecting people's information everywhere you go, and just start fresh with your database. Your list of people who know you, like you, trust you. Even if you can even promote that you're in a new town to the people you used to live with in another town, right. And just be reminding them, hey, now I'm in, Main Street, USA, and I want to get my real estate career going, and people will look to help you, and use social media. I think social media is probably the most important way to get out there, get some followers on social media. Instagram in particular is really popular. Now I'm probably showing my age here. Maybe someone needs to get out there and do some
I think
TikTok.
You're younger than me. I think you're a year or two younger than me. So you're not that old. Maybe I am. Well, when I was doing my stalking, I saw when you graduated. I was like, gosh, I think she's a year younger than me. But so one last real question.
Hello, I'm Bill Gallagher with Superior School of Real Estate, and I'm here with Preston Sandlin of Home Inspection Carolina. Preston, I've always liked your style, especially those pants, and also I've been interested in the home inspection business for a long time.
Well, Bill, that's ironic. I've always admired your style, and I've always admired your ability to educate these fine folks for sometimes 4-8 hours a day. I wish that I could do what you do.
Hey, Preston, wouldn't it be cool if we switched? Preston, we sure got what we wished for, buddy.
We sure did. And now that you're the expert, Bill, you are wearing the pants. And I'm the instructor and the educator. Tell us what Home Inspection Carolina is doing these days to make the home buying process easier for realtors and home buyers.
Well, Preston, all our home inspection reports now are online for the real estate agent and the client to review the report online and to be able to create a repair list basically online by either clicking repair, accept, monetary compensation, and once they prepare the request, they can then press email, text, or print right then.
You mean it's all automated, Bill?
Absolutely, we are high tech.
Wow. What else is Home Inspection Carolina doing different these days?
Well, Preston, we're training our home inspectors to be non-alarmist. We are training them to put things into perspective and to simplify the message for the homeowner.
Non-alarmist is key, Bill. You remember those days of the 100-page reports and those 3-ring binders that would just go on and on and on, la 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 la. Thank you for being a good non-alarmist.
And Preston, one more thing. We fix the small stuff for free. Do you remember when home inspectors always put those little nitpicky items on those reports?
Oh, bless their hearts.
Well, at Home Inspection Carolina, if we can fix it in 5 minutes or less, we do it for free. We're better with a caulk gun than a keyboard any day. We just fix it.
You mean there's no cost for this, Bill?
Preston, it's free.
Wow.
Well, Preston, these pants really are a catch.
Well, Bill, I've enjoyed wearing the suit, but I don't think I could wear it every day because I got to fix the small stuff for free, and I don't want to ruin a good suit.
Preston, it's been a lot of fun flipping the switch.
And some fun questions. What, and you kind of alluded to this, what's the best real estate advice you've ever gotten?
Oh gosh, the best real estate advice I've ever gotten. There's so much out there. I think the best advice I've gotten is to do the work. Honestly, like that is probably the best advice I have received. And one of my mentors, real estate agents can tend to get themselves in some financial trouble because, you get this big check, you don't set aside the money for taxes. And one thing that he always said was you can't out earn stupid. So if you're doing stupid things with your money, you're not reinvesting it back into your business, you're not setting aside money for taxes. You cannot be successful. So you need to have a plan and you need to stick with it.
Yeah. That happened to me early on, like in business. I because I, pay quarterly or whatever, and had really good year, and I just didn't think about it. And man, the accountant called me. It's like, you owe. I was like, what?
Yeah.
So then I'm like working for 2 months to pay my taxes, and I said, I will never let that happen ever again.
But I think we all have. Anyone who's in business has probably been there at some point or another. It's something you have to learn from, and you need to be able to make adjustments quickly. In this industry, or really any industry, and helping other agents become more profitable is a real passion of mine, because I have been there when, I can look like, oh, she's a top producer and she's getting all these awards when my books look terrible. So I have really learned to increase the profitability of my business in the last 3 years. It's been a huge focus of mine, and it's paid off in a big way.
Yeah, absolutely. And two, it's being a real estate agent, if you're a buyer, you want your real estate agent to look successful. So, you don't want them driving up in a beat up 50-year-old car. Although I think 50-year-old cars look great, but you have to project a certain image or people don't have confidence in you. So, at times I think that image, as long as you're doing it just for business purposes, I'm okay with it. I'm a very curmudgeon-y guy, though. I don't like, trying to show off just to show off. I think that's a waste of money. But I do think when you do need to project an image, though, you don't want to, it's like if an inspector showed up in a broken down truck that he had to park on the street because it's leaking oil, may or may not have happened before. You're starting to wonder, how successful is this person, and do I have the right person? By the same token, I don't think you want an agent to show up in a $300,000 Bentley, because you'll think, this person's making too much money. But I don't know. I guess starting out, it's kind of tough because you do have to spend a certain amount of money to make money, and it's not a salary position. It takes a while to, and that's tough. I think that contributes to some agents falling out. But anyway, It's your interview. I'm talking too much. All right. Speaking of which, now, and I maybe should have given you this one ahead of time. What is the craziest, Cathy, the craziest, wildest story that you've ever, and you could change the names. What's the craziest real estate story or, I don't know, the craziest thing you've ever seen happen or weirdest or something. I also do a podcast with home inspectors. You should hear some of those stories. But I've had some doozies in real estate too. Have you ever had anything crazy happen during a listing, a showing, a client, a seller, buyer, or aware of it? And again, you can change the names.
I will not mention any names. However, it is very interesting when you're showing property, because you're going into a stranger's home. And also keep in mind that in my past life, if I was going into stranger's home, I was probably heavily armed and I had other heavily armed people with me. So it was a little bit different. So now as a realtor, I'm ringing the doorbell and I'm opening the lockbox, and then sometimes the homeowners are there, and sometimes they don't really let you know they're there. They sort of
That's happened to us. That's happened to us. Usually freaks me out more than them, though. But
because I immediately take a couple steps back and get into my defensive position. And anyway, I've had homeowners kind of surprise me. I've had them say, "Oh, so and so is just sleeping in there in the bed, but you can go ahead in the room." And I'm like, "No. Mm-mm. I do not need to see that room, and neither does my client, and we're just gonna back on out of here." That's always strange. I've probably in today's society, a lot of other brokers have experienced this, and I'm sure you have too, Preston. And appraisers, I know this happens with appraisal appointments. Somebody has just finished smoking marijuana in the house. You walk in, it's like, oh, nice. They couldn't wait till after our appointment. I mean, think what other, there's just funny little stories and weird things that people have in their houses, like statues of life-size bears. Just you name it, you see it. Creepy dolls in closets. That's always a good one. You open the closet door and there's a bunch of creepy dolls.
I inspected a house one time and they had like mannequins everywhere. I mean, it was the creepiest, weirdest thing. I don't know if this person like worked in retail and maybe mannequins cost a lot of money or something, or they had no place to store them. But it's just like, I mean, you talk about creepy. I could never sleep in this place ever.
Yeah, that would freak me out for sure. Something else, it's not like weird and creepy, but just what's really happening in today's market with the super high prices, multiple offers, incredibly high due diligence fees that buyers are offering on properties. That to me is definitely something that is it's really important, especially for newer agents to really get accustomed with that. So I have been lucky that I do list a lot of homes, so I see a lot of offers. I know how many offers homes are getting. I know what the due diligence fees look like, what the dates and the terms of the contracts that are being accepted, kind of what that looks like. I did just get, Preston, $100,000 due diligence fee on a home.
What was the price of the home, if you don't mind me asking?
$750.
$100,000 due diligence. Holy cow! I think we put like 1,500 on ours, or 1,000 or something.
I know it used to be that 5,000 was a lot of pretty good due diligence.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe depending on the price point, right? Maybe 10,000. I mean,
basically, due diligence, you're just buying time, right? You're buying the time for them to take it off the market, forsake all other offers, or at least put them on hold until you can get your stuff straight or whatever. And golly, but the seller, the buyer could walk away for any or that was the whole thing. I remember when this was all introduced, because I've been doing inspections for a long time, and every once in a while, before due diligence, there was only earnest money deposit, right? So they would put an earnest money deposit down. I've seen this happen where then the buyers would find another house that they like. Now, this was back when the market was way different than it is now. So what they're trying to do is get out of first deal, right? And then they try to get, in fact, we've been calling that because they'll try to use the inspection report, to get out of it or whatever. But then seller says, no, I agreed to everything that you said you asked for. We've got a contract. You've got, and there actually was legal action then. So then they came up with due diligence, which was basically, you just buy the time, and it's a win-win for both parties. If I find another house, I can walk away. I lose that money. That's their price, and that was kind of the thinking was it was approximately a mortgage payment or something for taking it off the market for a month or however long while I could get my stuff straight. And but now it's just crazy. It's not a mortgage payment anymore. That's in your case, that's 1/7 the price of the house. That's just crazy.
Well, exactly. And I'm seeing that across the board in all the price points. I mean, not that 100,000, but I would say that 10%, 10% or more is probably the going rate for due diligence fees right now, and 10% over asking price. So if someone's looking for a $300,000 house, they better be ready to write an offer for $350,000.
Now, are you probably a little bit different in that price range, but now are you seeing cash buyers or contingent on financing, or what are you seeing?
A lot of cash buyers, a lot of investors are purchasing homes. I listed another home for $335,000, and I had multiple sight unseen offers from investors, good offers too, not lowball offers, and wound up in less than 24 hours, 2 days of showings. So, well, I guess 24 hours of showings, give or take. In 2 days, we had 24 offers on the table.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about all that. I mean, at heart, I'm an entrepreneur and a capitalist, and I don't like any kind of restrictions or things on the free market, but it's very hard for just like a first-time home buyer to buy a house right now. It seems like a lot harder than it ever was before. So
yeah, that is very true. A lot of them are getting priced out of the market. However, there are some tools and different things that we can use to help first-time home buyers get into homes. So just getting with an experienced realtor is obviously super important. And also for sellers to work with an agent who is very, very organized and systematized with how they run their business, how they market their listings, I think is really important too. So that's also one of my strengths that I like to share with other agents, how to handle 24 offers on a property. How do you sort them, stack them, rank them, and present them so that it makes sense to the sellers, because we read offers, all day, every day, hopefully. Right. But for them, they don't really understand exactly what they're looking at. So we need to really be that advisor to help them through whether buying or selling in this really fast-paced market.
100%. And I agree with what Cathy says. An experienced agent can make all the difference in the world. And I always tell people, I know people like they'll be buying a house and they're like, no, I don't need an agent. And I'm like, let me explain something to you. When you're the buyer, you don't even pay the agent. And that agent is going to have so much knowledge. It's just like doing my own taxes. I pay an accountant to do my taxes. And guess what? If I would have paid, I would have paid too much, because if I would have done my own taxes, I would have paid the government too much, because they make me aware of things I didn't even know were available, and they are. And it's the same thing with a realtor. And like you said, first time home buyer probably going it on their own or with an inexperienced agent, or an agent who doesn't have I like everybody's new at something, but if they've got a good system, what do you call it? A support. If they've got good people that they're working with, there's tools, like you said, I think, where they can make maybe a cash offer, but then they sort of refinance it on the back end or something like that. But yeah, use a realtor. Always use a realtor.
And always use a home inspector.
Yeah, exactly. I would never buy or sell a house without a realtor. Absolutely not. In fact,
well, and I do tell my sellers that they should get their homes pre-inspected before they're going to put them on the market. It's, kind of somewhat depends on the age of the home, but I know that I'm not going to put my home on the market without having it inspected first, so that I know what I'm potentially looking at. Even in this crazy seller's market, I still want to know. I don't want any surprises. Let's put it that way. I don't really like surprises.
No, surprises are not good in real estate.
Not in real estate, no.
Not at all. In fact, you're going to like this. We bought a little place down in Florida. It's kind of our, hopefully, retirement place at some. I'm still working another 10 years, but our, second home sort of deal. Anyway, I bought it sight unseen. Now, let me explain, though. I knew the area very well. I had been looking in the area. I was very familiar with it, but I had the realtor down there go look at it, FaceTime me the whole time, had the inspector. Again, I bought it, had a tenant in it. It still has a tenant in it. It's got a tenant for another year, actually. But I bought it sight unseen. In fact, 2 weeks ago, I saw it for the first time. But I had a really good realtor, really good inspector, and I knew, I was like, all right, does it have termites? Does it have the check? I mean, that it doesn't. But you can do that with technology. If you get a good realtor and a good home inspector, you can, out of town buyer can buy a house, and in this market, that's almost what it's going to take if you're from out of town, because you're
right.
If something comes open, you're going to have to jump on it right away, because it's not going to last. But anyway, again, I'm talking too much. All right, you ready for the fun round?
Sure.
All right, so this is this or that. So I picked two things, and you choose one of the things for yourself. Dog or cat?
Dog.
Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
Would you rather phone call or text?
Text.
Would you rather do cardio or weights?
Cardio.
iOS or Android?
iOS.
My whole family is, but I'm the Android holdout. Big party or small gathering?
Small gathering.
Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Football or basketball?
Football.
What do you think about Tom Brady coming back? Sorry, that was off the.
Oh my gosh! Did you happen to see that meme that came out, was real estate related, and it said, the buyer who's like, well, I'm just going to wait until the market changes or something, and then it's like a picture of Tom Brady and all of his Super Bowl wins, and like here's the market. The market's Tom Brady. It's not stopping.
No, exactly. He may
not
get
anytime soon. Anyone who thinks they're going to wait until things cool off, they're going to be waiting a while.
Oh yeah. I don't, and I put one up yesterday that I've been listening to. I'm a big Robert Kiyosaki fan, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I was listening to one of his books, and one of the quotes was, don't you wish you would have bought more real estate 20 years ago? Yeah, no kidding. And he said, well, here's the thing, you'll say that again in 20 years, and it's true. It's very true. I mean, think about Monopoly. I mean, I know it's a game, but it absolutely is true. The person who buys the most in the beginning winds up winning every single time. That was the lesson in that. And we have some rental stuff, but I'm not that level. But anyway, what's worse to do, laundry or dishes?
Dishes.
Tennis shoes or flip-flops?
Tennis shoes.
You rather go to a theme park or the beach?
The beach.
Yeah, me too. I do like theme parks though. And coffee, hot or cold?
Hot. I'm having my coffee this whole time we've been talking.
Yeah. Are you? Would you rather read a real book or an ebook?
Audiobook.
Me too. Me too. That's what I do all the time. Are you a member of Audible?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's what I like to
it.
listen to in the car, actually.
Yeah, same.
Especially on a road trip. If I'm on a road trip, I'm definitely going to be listening to something that's going to help me grow my business, grow my mindset. I'm not listening to, fiction.
Yeah,
Listening to
I'll put a
something to
fiction one
help
in
me.
there every now and then, but most of the time. So, all right, so I got to follow up on that. Give me favorite 2 or 3 books that business or mindset books or authors.
Okay, so one of the most important books to me in the last years has been Profit First.
Okay.
Profit First really helped me turn around my thinking and my organization of how I know that I'm going to have the money for my taxes, for my profit, for my salary, and maintain that too. Super important book. And then of course, Gary Keller's Millionaire Real Estate Agent book was hugely impactful early on in my career. Love that book. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think. Oh my gosh, the book. See, listen to me. I'm getting all excited. I was just recently listening to Ninja Selling, and I think that is incredible. Incredible.
Write that one
Ninja
down.
Selling.
I had heard somebody say that once before, and I didn't. But the fact that you're like really excited about it makes me like now I want to read it.
Yeah, right, I really think it can apply to any line of business, not just real estate. Anyone who's in sales, an entrepreneur. That book is fantastic. And what I really like about the books that I tend to like the most are the ones that I can take something and I can implement it today,
right?
And know that I'm going to get some results. That's what I like.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like books and speakers fall into 2 categories to me. Some are like rah rah, go get a mindset, and I like a little bit of that, but I like the applicable things like that. Give me some things I can go do today. So I don't know. I know like a lot of times you go to a conference and there's like keynote speaker or whatever, and they're usually some professional speaker and they're great about getting you jacked up or whatever. But then I like the granular person who comes in who maybe not be talking the first day, but they're talking like the 3rd day, but they're giving you like practical stuff like, hey, go do this. It works. You can do this tomorrow, but I'm with you. Can I give you a couple books or people?
Yeah, let me just say one thing about that really quick. So about speakers, I went to an event last August and Tony Robbins was the keynote speaker. Amazing, like blew it out of the park, both mindset stuff and action items that we could implement right away. However, prior to that, one of the top real estate brokers in the entire country was on stage, and he said something that really, really struck me, and it was the biggest marketer wins. And I think that that's something that I have not struggled with. That sounds kind of, sounds a little bit exaggerated. However, I don't have a sales and marketing background. I wasn't trained in that in college or anything, but I think for anyone, a realtor, a home inspector, an entrepreneur, you have to stop thinking of yourself as a realtor or as a home inspector, and you need to think of yourself as a marketer so that you can get your message out there. And
I like that. I like that. Yeah. Believe it or not, my training's not in marketing either. I was a finance major and a school teacher. So like, how did that happen? But no, I agree. And I'm a big like Gary Vaynerchuk fan, and his thing is you always got to be where the eyeballs are, and follow the eyeballs. That's where you got to be. And right now, a lot of that's social media, things like that, and be the thing is, be about business. You definitely want to help people and that sort of thing, but also be fun, entertaining, educational. Just don't be salesy all the time, or nobody likes that person. They like to invite Cathy to the party because she's fun and interesting. And oh, by the way, she happens to sell real estate. So, all right, last lightning round question. I know we're up against time here. All right, so finish these song lyrics. All right. Or if you can just finish the song lyrics or name the singer, which I would be shocked. I didn't even know. All right, you ready? Here we go. I know it's the same era. Can you finish the song?
I totally know that one.
So finish it. I am
a warrior.
Bingo. And you know why I chose
Not a
that?
singer, but I am a warrior.
And I chose it because both our kids went to Weddington in their state championships. Do you know who sang that? So I looked at it, I was trying to think of a song for that, and I was like, oh, Weddington Warriors. And I always, like, whenever they do well, I tell my kids, y'all know this song? This should be y'all song. But they look at me like I'm like from Mars or something. But do you know who sang it? I didn't even know. I guess they're one-hit wonder.
I got nothing.
It's Scandal. Patti Smith with Scandal. That must have been a one-hit wonder. I mean, I thought it was like going to be somebody from the 80s that you'd heard of or something, you know. But anyway, well, cool stuff. Well, Cathy, I've taken up a lot of your time, and you've given a lot of gold nuggets here. So before we part here, tell us one more time about the event, and also if somebody would like to follow up with you personally, you know, how can they find you, you know, and put out all your like website, Facebook, and all that. And for all the listeners out there, if you got some value today, which you know you did, go give her some likes or some follows or whatever the applicable social media thing is. So where can they find you?
Okay, so I am Cathy Burns, Cathy with a C, and you can find me on cathyburns.com, CATHYBURNS.com. My phone number is 704-307-3839, and I'm always looking to mastermind with other agents. I am looking to grow my real estate team. Again, the event is going to be Thursday, March 17th at Legion Brewing in South Park from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. It can be found on Facebook events. It can also be found in Eventbrite. And I know we're going to have a great turnout. We're going to have a fabulous lunch, and we're going to have a lot of fun, because that's actually really important to me as well. We have fun Absolutely. While we're doing this.
And we're going to learn how to have a killer listing, a listing presentation.
That's right, because we all need more listings. Everyone, whether you're working with buyers or even working with sellers, we need more listings in this market to make.
There is a little bit of truth to that adage. What is it? List to last or something like that. There's some advice.
Yes.
Especially
today. I know there's a lot of buyers agents out there who are they're getting worn slap out. In fact, the present I showed a buyer, now they're from out of town, so they really don't know where they want to be. But I took them out on Saturday from Matthews, Mint Hill, Concord, Rock Hill, Belmont. We 150 miles, because there's just not that many homes. It's not like I can find them, 5 houses to look at right in Matthews.
Oh no, I'm 100%. I'm always watching it too, like the full map of all, and it's and then I also look at, like, I always sort them by price, and man, there's not much on that, like, on the more affordable. I'm always looking at potential rentals, but it's like there's just not much at all. And I get yourself a realtor who knows how to find. And I know people, Cathy, like, they can find you something that's not even on MLS. So that's another advantage working with a realtor. Well, Cathy, thank you so much, and we will see you Thursday.
Be there or be square.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Preston.
Welcome to the Successful Real Estate Broker Podcast, where we learn about some success stories and some not so successful stories. But either way, we learn. Each episode, we talk with successful real estate agents and vendors about things they have done to make them successful and some things they did that you might want to avoid. Join us for each episode of the Successful Real Estate Broker Podcast with your host, Preston Sandlin.